Hey, be a squid and subscribe to my mediocrity. How's it going, my squids? Today we're going to be talking about Hell Warders, which is an interesting game that I was very, just surprised at. I didn't even know it was being released until I was looking in the games coming soon on Xbox, and I was like, oh shit, this looks like something. So just to be fully transparent, when I had seen this game, I was like, this thing looks like trash. I'm just going to, get it for a funny moments video and then just, shelf it. But I actually ended up liking the game, and I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty fucking good. So here we are reviewing it. So yeah, let's go ahead and just get into it. So essentially, Hell Warders kind of has this unique take on the tower defense genre. It's not necessarily about setting traps here and traps there. It's more of building a mini regiment and then having your troops defend with you, which is way more cooler and interactive in my personal opinion. You've got your three characters that you can choose from. You've got Goblin Slayer, you've got Galteris, and then you've got Samson the Third. And obviously Goblin Slayer is not a real thing. His name is Ryanair, but Goblin. He looks like Goblin Slayer, so that's the guy. And the idea behind the game is you play as one of these three characters, you level them up, you get your troops, and then you unlock them as you progress through the game, and then you end up being able to build this little mini army, and then you basically just defend from all these crazy hordes of demons, which is fucking badass because you're just sitting there with either two shotguns, a giant hammer, or a flaming shield with a cool ass sword, and it's just you're just sitting there hacking and slashing. And I will say, obviously, the thrill dies down eventually because it's you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over, as any tower defense game will do. And it gets repetitive a lot sooner than most games. But the point being is that when you first start playing, it's amazing, it's fun, you feel like a commander of some kind of squad, army, whatever it is you want to call it. And that's probably the thing that appeals to me the most, because I enjoy being just this overlord commander guy that just controls a regiment, army, and stuff like that. So whenever you hand me troops and I can also fight alongside them, I instantly like the game. So as you're progressing through Hell Warders, you're going to be unlocking three things, which is going to be attributes, defense units, and artifacts. The attributes are probably my most favorite thing a part of this game because it gives me the option to build however the fuck I want. I don't have to restart a new character. I don't have to reset everything and start from scratch. It just allows me to take the stat points from whatever I want and then just put them wherever, and then if I don't like it, I can just reset it and then just, put it back wherever I want. I love it when games give me fucking options, dude. I hate it when games are like, you know what, you want to redo something, you want to change a stat, well, guess what, you got to restart from level 1, and it's like, really, bro, you're just gonna make me do that? Very few games can get away with that shit with me, and I even though I still hate it, I'll accept it, but very few games. And I love it when games like this give me options where I can just customize my character stats however I want and mix and match and do whatever, and that's just a really cool thing for me. So that's another plus. And artifacts essentially are these defense unit upgrades. So basically, for example, I've got one right here that's called the Lion Heart Half Plate, which increases the health to my pikemen. So that's a really cool thing. You're not only getting defense units that you can build up, you can also get artifacts for your defense units in order to make them stronger. You'll be able to unlock more as you progress through the game, obviously, but for the most part, I've got a few right here. So I've got that one, the Mithril Arrows, which is increased damage by 15% to my archers. I've got Ring of Time, increased slow duration time by 2 seconds. This goes to my conjurers, and I'll unlock more later on. But for the most part, the fact that I can customize my defense units even more, that's, again, you're giving me a lot of options, which I really enjoy, and that's something that just, again, games kind of skip out on sometimes. So we're going to go ahead and conclude today's video. There's not really much else to talk about. It's a tower defense game with an interesting take on that sort of genre. You can be a commander. You've got a choice of three characters while being able to customize them, pretty well. And I don't really have any kind of negative criticism other than, the story I don't give a shit about. I was listening to it and I was just like, snore, boring, not that important. The gameplay is where it shines in my personal opinion. Though it may not be the prettiest game in the bunch, it's still the gameplay, I would say, outshines a lot of other games. And here's what I will say. I still had a better experience on this game than I did with Anthem. So if that says anything, there you go. So that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys found it informative. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.